A short update today, guys. So first of all, we are holding strong at around $800, which looks like a consolidation, and usually recently after such a consolidation period we have a new rise upwards. At least this trend continues starting from February. Moreover, a lot of the altcoins are doing really good. Total capitalization of altcoins surpassed 50 weeks moving averages and aim to touch 100 weeks moving average. So things on the altcoins looks very positive. Another thing, if you remember, we were talking about the correlation between Bitcoin dominance, here it is a green line, and the ratio between the capitalization of altcoins and capitalization of Bitcoin. And there's always the case when we have the drop of the Bitcoin dominance, we have the rise of this ratio, and vice versa. When we have the rise of dominance, this ratio is going down. And very recently we had the period of time when both of them were going up, which is really unusual. And finally, after Bitcoin dominance reached 63%, it's starting to go down, while the ratio between the capitalization of altcoins and Bitcoin is seemingly continuing to go up. So maybe this weird period is over and we finally see the recovery of altcoins. And speaking about that, we can look at the Bitcoin dominance. As some analytics mentioned, there is a triangle on Bitcoin dominance, which basically was broken upwards on the height of this triangle, which is like a textbook example. And at the point of the expected top, we had the reversal of Bitcoin dominance. So now we're seeing that it's going down. It's not necessarily be the case that it will go back to the same region, but the fact that it bounces and there was the point of the reversal of altcoins, at least short term, is very interesting. But what I was going to look at today is the chart of gold. So you can see this region, and I'm sure that you think that it seems like Bitcoin price. In fact, we had this rally, we had the drop, the oscillation around certain price, and then a huge drop, then accumulation period, and then we return to the rising trend. So pretty much the same as we see for Bitcoin. But if you actually will look at this picture in details, then you would see how precisely this match is. First of all, even the general picture is very similar, but if you look at the details, so around here when we had this rise after the bottom of Bitcoin at $3,150, we had very similar jump in price of gold. Then we have the decline of the price for both assets for a very long period of time, and of course the time scale is very different because gold is much slower, or you should say Bitcoin is much faster. So after that period of time we didn't have the new low as many people expected, but actually the growth started almost without pullbacks. The biggest pullback on gold was like 20%, and in fact it happened just before first ETF on gold. So maybe some people expected that ETF will bring the price of gold to the new level, so they try to dump the price in order to buy it at much lower area to get more profits in future. So after that we see this continuation of the rise, and then some solid period of the sideways price action for both gold and Bitcoin again. And despite all the FUD, for example, for Bitcoin, it didn't make the price going lower. And after that, finally, we see the explosive growth for both assets. And even these small details, small corrections are very similar for both of them. And as you may guess, for gold, we had the drop for like 20+% after it reached the top of this parabolic rise. And I'm not saying that it will happen for Bitcoin, but just this is the scenario which is very similar to what we had before, and Bitcoin is sort of closest to gold because it's called digital gold, right? And the last thing is that the whole evolution of this chart sort of supports my expectation for the future price evolution of Bitcoin, in the way that there will not be huge corrections on the way up as we saw in 2016-17, and actually the rise will happen much faster and much steeper than it was before. And speaking about the resemblance, so after this first significant drop, first correction of the price of gold, we had a fast pullback, so the price returned to the initial level. On the global picture it's actually almost a flat region, and then eventually we have even higher price, but first strong correction, and the only one strong correction around 35% happened after that, and then we get a new all-time high. So it's not clear, of course, whether Bitcoin will follow the path of gold, but you see the historical example right here. And as a bonus, here I actually rotated the chart of Bitcoin by 7 degrees counterclockwise, and in that way it matches the gold chart almost ideally. So you see all the bumps, all the minor pullbacks here and there. Of course, it's just speculation, but it's look really pretty. And don't forget, guys, that here again for gold we had the ETF, and we don't have anything for Bitcoin yet. We have the back news, of course, but it's a bit of different league. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised that despite of the recent decision on ETF that it is postponed again, that someone there knows that ETF probably will be accepted, and because of that there will be a lot of the buying pressure on Bitcoin, FOMO, so they are trying to get as much Bitcoin, accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. Of course, we cannot know that for sure, but in any case, I don't mind the price going in that way. Okay, that is it for today. I hope it was useful. Thank you for watching.